Welcome to the Alaska Peer Mentoring Training webinar. This content was developed by PolicyWorks and Stand Among Friends at Florida Atlantic University. They partnered to bring you this peer mentoring work content. They share a commitment to help individuals with disability achieve independence through employment. Today's presentation will be brought to you by Barbara Butts, President of PolicyWorks, Steve Allen, me, the project team lead, and our two peer project development specialists, Sierra Nakona and Sierra Calcita and Nakona McDonald. Thank you for participating in this webinar, and now we'll proceed.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Nakona McDonald, Program Development Specialist for PolicyWorks. You have made an important decision to become a peer mentor to another individual who shares some of your experiences and challenges. This webinar will provide a thorough understanding of what peer mentoring is. You will learn what being a peer mentor involves and how you can make a difference by sharing your experiences, knowledge, and skills. The following peer mentoring training webinar was adopted from our 21-hour Peer Mentoring Works training course. On this slide, we have selected quotes on peer mentoring that we encourage you to keep in mind in your new role as a peer mentor. The first quote from John C. Crosby, American politician: "Mentoring is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction." Our second quote from director Steven Spielberg: "The delicate balance of mentoring someone is not creating them in your own image, but giving them the opportunity to create themselves." Lastly, a short definition of a mentor with a picture of a green leaf. Mentor, learning from someone who wants you to grow. Definition. Peer mentoring is a process through which a more experienced individual encourages and assists a less experienced individual develop his or her potential within a shared area of interest. The resulting relationship is a reciprocal one that both individuals in the partnership have an opportunity for growth and development.
Hello everyone, my name is Sierra Calcita. I am the other half of the Project Development Specialist team. Now we will transition over to Mentors in the Transition programs. Peer mentors in youth transition programs fit this definition. The mentor and mentee have common experiences, but the mentor has additional training in how to assist the mentee in acquiring skills, knowledge, and attitudes to be more successful. For a mentor, this then is the goal, to use your experiences to assist the mentee in reaching their highest potential. Mentor roles and responsibilities. Mentor roles and responsibilities can be different from mentor to mentor. Mentors can serve many roles, including a guide, facilitator, role model, and/or ally to their mentee. A common principal goal for all mentors is a shared ideal to nurture the total autonomy, freedom, and development of those he or she mentors. In addition to your role as a mentor, you too will act as a guide and ally to your mentee. A mentor is a knowledgeable and experienced guide who teaches their mentee. A caring, thoughtful individual that provides their mentee with resources and connections to assist their mentee's growth. An individual that strives to be ethical, responsible, and compassionate in their work with others. A trusted ally or advocate who works with, not for, the mentee and on behalf of the mentee's best interests and goals.
A peer mentor is a friend, coach, companion, supporter, advisor, role model, resource for new information, new ideas, and new opportunities. A peer mentor is not a social worker, parent, superhero, source of money, therapist, or solution to all problems. Your team lead responsibility. In addition to your role as a peer mentor, you too will act as a team leader where you will guide and act as a trusted ally to your mentee. Definition: a team leader is someone who provides direction, instruction, and guidance to a group of individuals who can also be known as a team for the purpose of achieving a certain goal. An effective leader will know her team members' strengths, weaknesses, and motivations. Leadership qualities. Leadership is action and not a position. A leader shows somebody how to do something rather than bossing another around. Leadership skills. Communication. Leaders must master all forms of communication, including verbal, nonverbal, and listening. Motivation. Leaders inspire and encourage those in their team.
Continuing on with leadership skills, leaders should also have a positivity attitude. Leaders display a positive attitude in order to create a happy and healthy environment for their team. Trust. Demonstrate integrity through being honest and encouraging to others in order for them to follow their lead. Creativity. Practice out-of-the-box thinking. Feedback. Look for opportunities to provide your team advice and instruction. Responsibility. Be responsible for your actions. Commitment. Keep your promises. Flexibility. Leaders need to be flexible, accepting whatever changes and challenges that come their way. The trust factor. Your work on building a relationship with the mentee requires trust and confidentiality. It is a major factor in building trust. Your mentee is building his or her future, and they may have many doubts and fears that they will need to talk to you about, but that conversation needs to stay between you and the mentee.
An important promise to your mentee. Just like in the movies where the attorney and doctors have limits. In law, they call it attorney-client privilege. In medicine, it is doctor-patient privilege. Your promise to keep information between you and the mentee is the backbone of your relationship. The importance of confidentiality. Confidentiality in a mentoring relationship is important. Confidentiality means that you will not share information that is given to you by your mentee without them specifically giving you permission to share that information. That permission should also include the specific facts that can be shared and the individual the mentee has named as people with whom you can share the information. Realistic expectations. Let them know that you are there to help them find the resources they need to address problems regardless of the issues that arise. Let them know that you will also let them know when you must report an issue to your supervisor or other person in authority.
Be clear about when you would be required to share information without consent. There are certain circumstances where you may need to share information. These circumstances do not occur often, but you must know what to do if they do occur and how to handle them. When you and your mentee begin your relationship, you need to share this information with them so they understand the boundaries of the relationship. Times you cannot maintain the mentee's confidentiality include if there has been a crime committed, if you believe that the mentee is in danger, if you believe that the mentee may be a danger to someone else. Share this information with your mentee. Let them know that their information and conversations are safe with you and that you will not share this information with others unless these circumstances exist. Our next section is mentoring with purpose. On this slide, we have a Quote from Winston Churchill, "We make a living by what we get. We make a life what we give."
Mentoring etiquette. There is an unspoken code of behavior that exists in mentoring relationships. Because it is unspoken, participants in the mentoring relationship can have misunderstandings. All individuals come to a new relationship with different styles of communication, different points of view, and different expectations. Mentoring etiquette. Working in a new relationship with someone very different from you is a skill. As with any skill, the more you practice, the easier it gets. At the very minimum, relationship skills required for mentoring include showing kindness, practicing patience and flexibility, and expressing a sense of appreciation for the individual's accomplishments. Mentoring do's and don'ts. Do. Respect your mentee's time as much as your own. Be clear about the norms for your meetings and your own needs and limits. An example, time, communication, etc. Always ask if you can make a suggestion or offer feedback. Tell your mentee that you don't expect them to follow all of your suggestions.
Continuing of mentoring do's and don'ts. Do. Expect your mentee to move toward his or her goals, not yours. Express appreciation to any help your mentee gives to you. Keep the relationship on a professional basis. And recognize and work through conflicts in a respectful way. Invite discussions of differences. Don'ts. Don't assume that your schedule always has priority. Make your mentee guess or learn by trial and error about the ground rules for your meetings. Don't automatically give advice or criticism. Don't assume your advice will be followed, and don't expect a clone of yourself. Don't expect a clone of yourself. Don't take your mentee for granted or assume that he doesn't need positive reinforcement. Don't move too quickly into a personal friendship, if at all. Don't avoid discussion of inappropriate subjects and forcing solutions in conflicts. And don't end the relationship on a sour note.
The communication toolkit. Building your communication toolkit is essential in your role as a mentor. Important communication skills and techniques to practice include active listening, the use of I messages, paraphrasing, use of open-ended questions, nonverbal, and behavior. Active listening. Active listening is an attempt to truly understand the content and emotion of what the other person is saying by paying attention to verbal and nonverbal messages. The task is to focus, hear, respect, and communicate your desire to understand. This is not the time to be planning a response or conveying how you feel. Active listening is not nagging, cajoling, reminding, threatening, criticizing, questioning, advising, evaluating, probing, judging, or ridiculing. Active listening skills to use. Eye contact, body language, open and relaxed posture, forward lean, appropriate facial expressions, and positive use of gestures. Verbal cues such as sure, and yes.
Effects of active listening. It encourages honesty, helps people free themselves of troublesome feelings by expressing them openly. Reduces fear, helps people become less afraid of negative feelings. Builds respect and affection and increases acceptance. Promotes a feeling of understanding. When you actively listen, you cooperate in solving the problem and in preventing future problems. iMessages. These messages give the opportunity to keep the focus on you and explain your feelings in response to someone else's behavior. Because iMessages don't accuse, point fingers at the other person, or place blame, they avoid judgments and help keep communication open. At the same time, iMessages continue to advance the situation into a problem-solving stage. Paraphrasing. Paraphrasing focuses on listening first and then reflecting the two parts of the speaker's message, fact and feeling, back to the speaker. Often the fact is clearly stated, but a good listener is listening between the lines for the feeling part of the communication. Using the skill is a way to check out what you heard for accuracy using a feedback loop. Did you interpret what your mentee has said correctly? This is particularly helpful with youth as youth culture language change constantly.
Open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are intended to collect information by exploring feelings, attitudes, and how the other person views a situation. Open-ended questions are extremely helpful when dealing with young people. Youth, teenagers especially, tend to answer questions with as few words as possible. To maintain an active dialogue without interrogating, try to ask a few questions that cannot be answered with a yes, no, I don't know, or a grunt. Open-ended question examples. How do you see this situation? What are your reasons for? Can you give me an example? How does this affect you? How did you decide that? What would you like to do about it? What part did you play? Nonverbal communication. What you don't say. Body language, also known as nonverbal language, is a powerful way to communicate, though many people don't realize it. It is many times more powerful than the words we say. For example, if someone is telling you that she is really glad to have met you, but her arms are folded across her chest and she is looking behind you at someone else, do you believe what she is saying, or do you doubt her sincerity?
Behaviors that matter. Body language. Slouching, turning away, pointing a finger. Timing, speaking too fast or too slow. Facial expressions, smiling, squirming, raising eyebrows, gritting teeth. Tone of voice, shouting, whispering, sneering, whining. Choice of words, biting, accusative, pretentious, emotionally laden. Connecting with your mentee. A mentor provides their mentee direction, leadership, coaching, advice, training. They inspire, support, and provide motivation so that their mentees reach success. Another mentoring quote to keep in mind: mentoring is a partnership, a confidential relationship, a positive developmental activity. Self-determination. Self-determination encompasses concepts such as free will, civil and human rights, freedom of choice, independence, personal advocacy, self-direction, and individual responsibility.
Self-determination, the right to choose. At its most basic level, self-determination says that individuals of all abilities can get to make decisions and have choices over decisions that affect their lives. What does this mean to you as a peer mentor? Your mentee has the right to make their own informed decisions and choices. You are not a mentee's decision maker. Your role is to educate, inform, and support the mentee in making career plans and deciding their future. The student gets to choose his or her direction and determine for themselves what paths they will take. They have the right to ignore your advice. Key strategies for effective mentoring. Positive attitude. Encourage the students to approach life and goals with enthusiasm and to be accepting of self and others. Valuing. Encourage the student to examine beliefs and ideals in an effort to establish personal values and goals. Open-mindedness. Encourage the student to keep an open mind to ideas. Interrelations. Make the interactions between mentor and student situations of sharing, caring, and empathizing.
Key strategies for effective mentoring continue. Creative problem solving. Encourage the student to use a creative problem solving process. Effective communication. Encourage the student to be an attentive listener and assertive questioner. Discovery. Encourage the student to be an independent thinker. Strengths and uniqueness. Encourage the student to recognize individual strengths and uniqueness and to build on them. Confidence. Assist the student in developing self-confidence. Awareness. Stress that an individual be aware of the environment, be intuitive, be problem-sensitive, and be ready to make the most of opportunities. Risk-taking. Encourage the student to be a risk-taker and to be an active participant, not a spectator. Flexibility. Share with the student the importance of being flexible and adaptable in attitudes and actions. Looking for alternatives and seeing situations, persons from different perspectives. Mentoring tips on positive reinforcement. Find ways to have fun with your mentee and your fellow mentors. Talk about interesting topics, share humorous experiences. Such communications help young people relate to you and feel that you value their company. Enjoyable activities include talking about your experiences in college and employment, interesting resources, current events, community services, opportunities, and other personal goals.
Mentoring tips on positive reinforcement. Be positive and offer expressions of confidence and encouragement even when talking about difficult situations. Find ways to show approval of your mentees and their ideas and to celebrate their successes. There are many ways to do this. Examples of positive comments that show approval and interest. Great idea. Nice going. Good work. Outstanding. I knew you could do it. Wow, all your hard work paid off. I bet you'll celebrate this accomplishment. How can you build on this successful experience? The first meeting, tips for starting off right. Many people experience anxiety about their first meeting with a mentoring partner. Having a clear game plan will relieve this anxiety and make the first meeting more productive. A major purpose of the first meeting is to get your mentoring relationship off to a good start by candidly sharing your goals, experiences, and expectations.
For the first meeting, how you relate to your mentee may be even more important than the material you cover. Expressing a genuine interest in your mentee is the most critical goal. This interest is expressed by asking thoughtful, engaging questions. You also express this interest by listening carefully to your mentee's comments and responses to questions you ask him or her. Learning about your mentee's interests, work activities, duties, and personality can help you establish a solid foundation upon which to build your relationship. Prepare your first meeting by generating a list of both general and specific questions you want to ask. The following are some general questions you can ask your mentee. Don't let these suggestions limit your imagination when it comes to creating your own questions to help you learn about your new mentee. A successful mentoring relationship offers something for both you and your mentee. Try to have a good understanding of what you want to get from your relationship. Also, try to identify what you might be able to bring to the relationship, making this part of your conversation. Making an effort toward creating a positive first meeting will in turn help you create a positive mentoring relationship in the long run.
Troubleshooting. We have a picture that says problem. Now let's work on a solution. Locating community resources. As a peer mentor, you do not have to know everything, but you should know someone who knows about specific topics that are needed by your mentee. In some cases, you will use these individuals as resources, and in some cases, you may refer your mentee to speak directly to that individual. Locating resources, the basics. What resources are available in your community on your campus? Do you know the basic services that are available and where to find them? Do you know how to contact them? There are several quick guidelines that are available in most communities. One of the best sources is your telephone book or online yellow pages. Many communities have blue pages that list all of the government, private, and nonprofit human service providers in your community. If you get stuck and cannot find services you think is important, you may want to call 211.
211 is a community information and referral service. They have an extensive listing of resources and usually also have a crisis line that is available and might be an important resource for a mentee in a crisis. In Alaska, the website for Alaska's 211 is http://www.alaska211.org/ Finding support. As a peer mentor, you do not need to have all the answers. One of the most important skills you can learn from mentoring is how to ask for help. For some issues, you can find ways on your own by doing your own research on the internet, or you can respectfully and confidentially troubleshoot with others you trust. Remember, you can always turn to and ask for help from your peer mentor coordinator, program staff, other mentors, and mentors in your life. Thank you for listening to our presentation. If you have any peer mentoring questions or concerns, please feel free to contact CR and Nicona. On the slide, you'll find CR and my other counterpart, Nicona's, email address. You can contact CR at ccalcita@gmail.com, and you can contact Nicona at niconak@gmail.com.
Resources. Please find below recommended resources to turn to for more information on mentoring. mentoring partnership. http://www.mentoringpittsburgh.org/mentor-resources. National Mentoring Resource Center. http://www.nationalmentoringresourcecenter.org/. ODEP's Cultivating Leadership, Mentoring Youth with Disabilities. http://gol.gov.gov/odep/fact/cultivate.htm. Additional website resources listed at the end. Partners for Youth with Disabilities. http://www.pyd.org. We invite you to visit our PolicyWorks website, www.disabilitypolicyworks.org.
Thank you again for joining us on this webinar. We ask you to complete a quick survey questionnaire on your experience in taking the peer mentoring training webinar. On this slide, you'll see the link to our survey at Survey Planet. To access it, it's http://4/surveyplanet.com/59177454988E4E092C6B9375. Thank you again for participating, and if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact Ciara and Nicona. Thank you.
And this is Barbara Butts, the president of PolicyWorks. We want to express our good wishes on a great summer. We hope that you have a fantastic work experience and that your first experience in mentoring is a wonderful one. We are here to help you. If you need help, please reach out to Ciara or Nicona for information, assistance, and guidance. If you have any other questions, you know how to get us. And we really appreciate your taking the time to do the survey that Ciara just mentioned with the survey link that's available on screen. So thank you so much, and again, have a wonderful summer.
Included in our webinar are mentoring role-playing skits. Our first skit is on bullying.
Caroline has noticed that Jill often engages in negative self-talk and compares herself to others. Caroline suspects that Jill has been and probably still is bullied by her classmates. Jill often makes comments like, "Nobody ever wants to be in a study group with me because I'm too slow. At this rate, I shouldn't even bother with applying to college, and my classmates keep telling me I should be in a special ed class and that I'm holding them back when I ask the teacher to explain things. So I usually just keep my mouth shut in class, but then my grades suffer and I blame myself because of the questions I didn't ask in class." Let's explore how Caroline could have a positive, empowering conversation with Jill about bullying. And Caroline acts as a strong mentor by suggesting an action plan that they can work on together to address the issue.
Hi, Jill. How are you doing today?
I'm okay.
Great. Today I was thinking we could go over the list of internships I gave you last week and start working on a few applications. Have you had a chance to look at the list yet? Did anything stand out to you as something you'd be interested in?
Sure, we can look at the list.
Cool. I tried to add some opportunities that seem to fit your interests. Did anything stand out?
No offense or anything, but I don't think I'm qualified for any of those opportunities.
I think you definitely meet the qualifications. They are intended for high school juniors, seniors, and recent graduates. The other qualifying factors are mostly things like basic administrative tasks, like using a computer, answering telephones, and more. I've seen you excel at all those types of tasks. You don't have anything to worry about in that department.
Actually, I'm really slow at that stuff. I don't want to risk putting myself in any more situations where my classmates think I'm slow at that. I'd rather pursue internship opportunities after I graduate.
Everyone has their own pace. It's okay if it takes people different amounts of time to complete the tasks.
True, but I'm really slow. My classmates tease me about how I hold up the whole class when I ask questions or do a presentation, because it takes me so much longer than everyone else. I can't wait to graduate, then I won't have to deal with them.
Jill, have you ever talked to anyone about how your classmates make you feel? Do you think they realize the effects they're having on you on what they say?
Not really. My mom just tells me that high school is rough for everyone and it builds character.
Maybe it is tough for everyone, but it's not okay for them to bully you like that.
I guess not. Maybe I should be in the special ed classes like my classmates suggest. There are people with disabilities there. I probably would fit in better even if it's boring.
From what you've shown me, your grades are actually really good. If you feel good about your schoolwork aside from the effects these kids are having on you, maybe it's time to do something to get your school to address bullying. Has anyone ever talked to your class about bullying? I bet you're not the only one at your school who's experienced what you're going through.
No, nobody has done a presentation or anything like that. I'm not sure I would be comfortable doing it myself. It might cause a lot of drama and I don't want my classmates to get even more upset. I don't want to seem like I'm tattling on them.
I totally understand. Did you know that there are organizations we could contact that would come and do presentations at your school on bullying? You and I could contact your teacher or principal and get some type of presentation or awareness event coordinated. Your classmates wouldn't even need to know that you were the one behind it. I bet it would benefit the whole school to have something like that happen.
Really? I didn't know that. I think I would be up for that, but how do I know where to look for an organization that would do something like that?
I have a list of organizations in the resource database I have access to through being a mentor. I can also ask my supervisor if she knows of a really good one. If you'd like, I can do that this week.
Really? That would be fantastic.
Yes, we have a plan then. Would you be willing to approach your teachers and have them help coordinate? You should send them an email or ask them privately after class if you're not comfortable doing it in front of anyone. Would you want to do that this week?
That sounds like a great plan.
Great. I'm really excited about us working together to make this happen. How about we both do our part and then meet up next week, Monday afternoon, and continue from there?
That sounds perfect. Thank you so, so much. I'm starting to feel better already.
I'm so happy to hear that.
This week I'll also take a look at those internship opportunities you shared. I guess it couldn't really hurt to apply to a few.
Yay! Sounds like we have a good plan. Let's meet up again next Monday. Same place, same time. If anything comes up or you have any questions, or if you need anything at all, you know how to reach me.
Okay, will do. And thanks a lot for being such an awesome mentor.
Of course. I love being a mentor. Have a great week. See you next Monday.
Now we transition to our next skit on confidentiality.
Julie has been mentoring Jane for a little over a month. Julie is starting to notice that Jane often says things that are suggestive of self-harm and has passively mentioned that she has had suicidal thoughts. However, sometimes it seems like Jane just has a really off sense of humor, and the concerning comments aren't anything to worry about. Julie doesn't want to start any drama by making a big deal out of something that could just be a part of Jane's personality. Still, the comments aren't sitting right with Julie, and Julie is worried that if she doesn't say anything to anyone about what Jane talks about, Jane could end up harming herself, and Julie would feel responsible for not saying anything that could have helped Julie get the help Jane may need. What is Julie to do?
Hi, Jane. How's everything going? Did you have a fun weekend?
Hi, Julie. It's going great. I looked over that list of internship opportunities you gave me last Wednesday. I definitely want to start working on some applications. My weekend was awesome, except for the part about burning myself with a lighter. But it's all good. What about you?
Ouch. Glad you're okay. Getting burned is painful. My weekend was good. Mostly stayed around the house and spent time with family.
Oh, sure. I don't mind getting burned. It's kind of fun sometimes. I love playing with fire, so it's not really a big deal. I burn myself all the time. I also started gathering my references this weekend.
Oh, fantastic news about the references. That will help tremendously when you apply for these opportunities. It's really great to see how motivated you are. All this energy will really keep you going as you move towards securing an internship for this fall semester. So let's talk about where to start with all these applications. I put a note by the ones that have application deadlines coming up. So if any of the ones with notes by them are the ones that you're interested in, we should probably start with those and get them turned in as soon as possible.
Sounds like a plan. The one at the aquarium stood out to me. Since I want to go into either zoology or some kind of animal science when I go to college, it might be a helpful experience. It looks like a fun internship. Except of course if I fall into one of those huge shark tanks and die. You know, that's a real possibility with an internship like that. But even if I died, it will still be a fun way to spend my last day.
Well, try not to worry too much. I've never heard of that happening to an intern. I'm sure you would be fine. I'm pretty sure that they have safety protocols and that the tanks are secure.
I should probably decide who gets all my stuff. I tend to end up in weird situations quite often, so falling into a shark tank wouldn't really be that extraordinary of a thing to happen to me. It would actually be a pretty cool way to go out.
Well, how about we start with that application since the deadline's a week from Friday? I think it would be ideal to apply for as many opportunities as possible. That way, if you get accepted for multiple positions, you can choose which ones you want to pursue.
Awesome. The Nature Conservancy also looked cool. And maybe the animal shelter one.
Excellent. Let's start with those 3. And if you can get those turned in by next week, we'll choose another 3 to apply for next week.
That sounds like a plan. I mean, if I'm still around next week. You never know what could happen.
Perfect. Hey, Jane, I totally might be reading into things too much, so I apologize if this isn't something you want or need to talk about. But I also need you to know that as your peer mentor, if I feel you're ever in danger, I'm obligated to let my supervisor know my concerns. I've noticed you mentioned the possibility of bad things happening to you quite a lot.
Oh, don't worry about me. That's just a part of who I am. I have a weird sense of humor, I guess. If anything ever happens to me, I promise it's totally not your fault. You're an awesome mentor. Don't worry. I'll be sure to have my mom call you to let you know what happened to me if I stop showing up to our meetings. I might even leave you some of my video games. Please, I'd rather not mention it to your supervisor. I don't want everyone to get all worked up about something that doesn't involve them.
Well, I want you to know that if I ever do need to mention any concerns to my supervisor, it's not because I'm being a snitch or trying to get anyone in trouble or anything like that. Sometimes I take things really seriously, and I need the reassurance of my supervisor to discern what is and isn't a valid concern.
For sure, but also I thought everything we talk about in our mentoring meetings is supposed to be confidential. So that means that if I don't want you to tell your supervisor about my sense of humor, you need to honor our confidentiality agreement.
Jane, I'm really sorry if I upset you. And believe me, I agree with you about the importance of confidentiality. As a peer mentor, unfortunately, we do have a list of things that we need to let our supervisors know about. If those certain things come up, it doesn't mean I won't be able to be your mentor anymore or that I have to repeat everything you say to my supervisor.
I really like having you as a mentor.
Another option, if you don't want me to talk to my supervisor, is that you could talk to him yourself. We could all have a meeting together, or I could connect you two for a chat. He also has some really great experience with resumes and cover letter writings. So regardless of any concerns I have about you, it would be a great connection to make.
Really? That would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would. Again, I'm sorry if I seem like a worrywart. I would just feel a lot better if we could talk to my supervisor about things, and that way, if there's any additional resources or services you might be interested in benefiting from, he can help you connect to the right places. I'm going to give you his contact info, and I'll let him know that you'll be in touch. If he doesn't hear from you by the end of the week, he'll contact you. I'm actually really excited about the three of us all working together.
Me too. I guess it also couldn't hurt to see what's out there. Even if it really is just my weird sense of humor, I've never really talked about where it comes from with anyone, and it might be a good idea to get it checked out before it gets me fired from any of these cool internships I'm applying for.
I'm so happy to hear that. So it sounds like we both have some work to do this week. Let's stay in touch and plan on meeting next week. Same place, same time.
Great! See you next week!